All righty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup. I'm going to give you the same spiel that I gave you yesterday. You know why? Because when I said there isn't a whole lot going on, I didn't have really a whole lot to say. We ended up getting some decent moves yesterday afternoon. So I'm just going to give you the same thing. I really don't know what's going on, and there's really nothing to do here. I actually need to point out a couple of things, especially going into this afternoon. And I want to see if this is like a normal reaction that we see during the day. And it might be characteristic of, a market that might be shifting trends a little bit. One of the things I was looking for, well, dollar Canadian's coming down, yes, but what I was actually looking for is like the S&P, to eventually make its way lower. And one of the things that happened yesterday is we rallied back and then sold off at the end of the day. And I'm wondering if that's going to be more of a normal type of characteristic of the market. And that would be one that would be trending lower. You get some early morning buying or early day buying, and then by the end of the day, you end up giving back those gains. And the reason why that's important is because what it's doing is it's shifting the mentality of the market from buy the dip to sell the rallies. Because let's imagine every day you come in, and you've been doing this for years. So you come in, you buy some stock, whatever it is, and then by the end of the day you sell it. You take a little profit, right? And then you're still doing that. And here we are in the present day, and you first thing in the morning you go out and you buy whatever stock that you're buying or whatever index that you're buying. And by the end of the day, you're break even, maybe negative. And after a while, you're going to be like, hey, wait a second. This this pattern that I've been following for the last several years isn't working. And so when you get in that type of change of behavior, then you start getting I'll buy it in the morning, and then midday, like right now, like yesterday, you start selling into the strength, and then by the end of the day, you're lower. And then it's slowly shifting that mentality of the marketplace. And I'm going to see if that's something that a type of behavior that we see change in the coming, weeks from now. So I'm not confident of that. I'm just making observations right now as we are and have spent the last a couple of days just kind of consolidating. So, we rallied into Monday, and we've just been kind of sitting sideways. This is Monday's price action, if you will, right here. Here we are a couple of days later. We are just consolidating. I think that the S&P really critical support is down here at 3,900. Or just sub 3,900. You got these spike lows at 38.98, and then you got some down here at 38.88. So I think this is going to be critical. Matter of fact, I'm going to set an alarm for some of these levels, just to have them on the radar, because if we start taking out some of that support, then that will trigger me to do some other actions. One of the things I have to point out is that you take a currency pair like the dollar Canadian, it's acting exactly what we thought it was going to do earlier this morning. We were looking at the dollar Canadian pulling back to the 125.40 level. Here we are. Can we pull back a little further? Sure. I wouldn't be surprised to see us pull back into the 20s. Somewhere down like this. Somewhere down here a little bit later. But I think these are opportunities to be on the long side. Look, I think the dollar Canadian's breaking out. I think it's going to break above 126. We were talking in Asian trade last night, and we were trading closer to 126, like 125.90. And I told everybody in the chat room yesterday evening. I'm like, look, I think it's breaking out, but I can't buy it up here. And I think most of us that were in the chat room last night didn't, because I mean, I already own the dollar Canadian, but I mean, as far as adding, because what I'd like to see is I'd like to see a daily close back above 126. But regarding the dollar Canadian, look at the rally that we've had in oil. I mean, oil has just absolutely crushed shorts. We hit a new low and then we're just ripping. I do think oil is going to peter out here shortly. And when it does, I think the dollar Canadian is going to, bounce. Currencies like the dollar, US dollar, Norwegian krona. I know we hit some pretty key resistance, but look, I think all of this is just setting up for, an eventual breakout. Like you take the US dollar, Norwegian krona, for example. I think instead of developing like I thought we were doing more of a triangle, but I think it's probably going to end up looking like this. Yeah. Right. Something like that. I'm using that as an example. Maybe it takes us all week. Maybe it, dips today and then breaks out tomorrow. Who knows? But I think that we are consolidating and working our way towards a breakout. And especially if crude oil, pulls back soon, I think that's going to be the risk. Let's see. Anything else that I'm like overly excited about? Well, I mean, I'll just reiterate my tweet here. The Kiwi is trading heavy. I mean, I know it's bouncing. You could actually just argue that it's consolidating right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we just, we sit and consolidate, work off some of these oversold conditions. Same with the Aussie. The Aussie probably is, going to be bouncing around here before we break down. I mean, look, if we break lower in the Kiwi and the Aussie, those are big, especially like the Aussie, that's a big deal, right? I mean, we got to be pretty confident that equities are going to have a substantial pullback in order for the Aussie to really crack that neckline of the head and shoulder pattern, right? And if you look at it from a symmetrical standpoint, it's just I'm just kind of free handing it here. We still have a little bit of time to consolidate. Maybe the Aussie will give us another look at 78 cents before we can sell it. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I mean, the head and shoulder patterns don't have to be symmetrical. They don't. It's nice when they are. But also eating cake with ice cream is also nice. But I don't always eat cake with ice cream. Sometimes I'm stuck with just ice cream, and some other times I'm stuck with just cake. But sometimes I get a cake and ice cream, and sometimes you'll find a head and shoulder pattern that is actually symmetrical. They aren't always symmetrical. One of the other things I guess we should talk about because it was important this morning is just watch yields. Let's keep an eye on yields. Yields are firmer today, right? And you'll notice that the NASDAQ is heavier. So if yields continue higher in this channel, that means that the NASDAQ's probably going to stay relatively heavy. And if it does, will it eventually drag down like the rest of the markets as well? It could be, or it definitely could. So that's what I'm paying attention to there. Bitcoin's come off a little bit. Gold and silver have, rallied back, but they're pulling back a little bit. I'm still obviously very focused on Bitcoin, especially if we start breaking through, trend line support and definitely horizontal support right there at 52.5. I did pick up the Euro Aussie like right here, just so you guys, for those of you that didn't know, if you're not in the chat room, here it is. I had it from last week. I sold it it's kind of consolidating, and I really think that a break above this 156 is going to be very bullish. So I think it's consolidating. We might be able to get back to the 64.80 level if you want to try to be really patient. That, you know, for me, I don't mind adding. So if I have to buy a little bit down here, I'll buy a little bit down here, because I think the eventual move is going to be, you know, a rally back towards 161. So I'm you know, playing it as a, you know, let's start a core position, even though I was trading it long last week, but I'm restarting a core position here. And then on a breakout above 157, then you got a double bottom, takes us back towards 161, that type of thing. So again, I'm just you know, keeping it a position, a core position that I'm looking to add to. Let's see. Maybe it. You know, there's, you know, it is kind of a quiet session right now, but let's not put our guard down, because yesterday the market actually picked up at the end of the day. We saw some volatility pick. Oh, speaking of volatility, you know, one last thing. Let's take a look at the VIX, because, sorry, my allergies are really killing me. The VIX keeps trying to get back above 20. I think this is a, you know, going to be a risk for anybody who's short volatility. You know, if we start spiking back above 22, I think this is where, you know, 22 is right there. So, you know, VIX gets back above 22, you know, we need to start paying pretty close attention to equities, right? And then, you know, obviously move above 23 and change, then things get a little bit more hairy for volatility shorts, and that means that equities are probably, you know, starting to you know, roll over. Okay, guys and gals, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate. Oh, wait, hold on, got some questions. Oil is because the canal blockage, says Paul. Yes, correct. That is the catalyst that is driving crude oil to squeeze higher, the Suez Canal. But it'll be over, and you know, we might at that point might be the catalyst that drives it back down. Who knows? Irina said, "This is exactly the point, Blake. I was selling at strength." Lorraine says, "Thanks, and you are welcome, Lorraine." All right, guys and gals, have a great one. I'm gonna go shower because I need to, and you didn't even need to know that. I'll talk to you guys later.